How's it going, everyone? This is Tom. As I'm sure many of you are aware, iOS 7 has been released for iPad in the Beta 2 iteration of the beta software. I'm here today for a video going over the top 5 features for the iPad iOS 7. I've already done a video going over the top 5 features found in iOS 7, however this is going to be specific to the iPad, so I will link that video down below if you want to check that out, but let's just jump in. One of my favourite new additions to iOS 7 is the lock screen, and that's no different on the iPad variation. I really like how notifications are managed on it. You can swipe up and gain access to the control center. We'll talk about that in a little second. And also notification center. Those both work on the lock screen. You can also access your camera, but I just really like how it looks, especially with the dynamic wallpapers, which again we'll talk about in a little while. It's just a very clean lock screen, much like the last one, but it's a lot more modern. It's very similar to the Android lock screen, which a lot of people have been quite angry about, but in my opinion it's nice and I'm a big fan of it so far. Next up we have the notification center for iPad. Now one of the worst things in my opinion about iPad for iOS 6 for iPad, excuse me, is that the notification center was just tiny and in the middle. You get a full screen notification center with iOS 7, you get this Gaussian blur in the background, you can manage your notifications. The notification center is actually much like the, pretty much exactly the same as the iPod Touch and iPhone variant. However, it's a lot bigger. As you can see, you get more screen real estate, and that'll be interesting to see how the screen real estate pans out and how what Apple does with a lot of these things just kind of seem upscaled. So it'll be interesting to see what and how Apple managed that. Next up we have Control Center, and I'm showing you this in landscape orientation because a lot of these things work in portrait and landscape, as you might imagine. So you just swipe up from the bottom. You can do it from anywhere on the bottom. It's just because of this stand I did it from the side. You can change your brightness. You can quick access the camera and the clock applications to the right there. You can access your media controls to the left. You've got your quick toggles at the top, so you can toggle on your Wi-Fi, airplane mode, do not disturb, and etc, etc. You also get AirDrop and AirPlay functionality at the bottom as well. A very, very useful feature in iOS 7. I'm a huge fan of the control center, and this kind of limits or just stops the use of a ton of jailbreak tweaks, and it'll be incredibly interesting to see how the jailbreak community responds to all of this, as there's quite a lot of new additions and new tweaks that have been implemented in iOS 7 from the jailbreaking community. Next I want to talk about the full screen multitasking in iOS 7. Now on iPad it's a little bit hit and miss so far, however it's got enormous potential and that's why I'm including it in my top 5. But for example there you can see that the Tweetbot app is actually not rotated, so I hope that they fix this because it's just a nightmare. For example, that web page is upside down there. You can close out applications as you might imagine, but for example when it works it looks great. The settings application just there. There's also a lot of real estate to hopefully do something else with. I'm not sure what Apple are going to do there. Maybe they'll just leave it like this, but I hope, really hope that all of the bugs get sorted out, which I'm sure they will in the further betas. Next we're going to finish up talking about the dynamic wallpapers. You get 2 to choose from, and I'm a huge fan of these, hence why I'm including it in this top 5. But these wallpapers actually move according to just randomly, and also according to your input. I'm not sure how well you can see this here, but I am moving my iPad around, and they're kind of parallaxing behind. You get this parallax effect for where it just responds to the motion input from your accelerometer. As I said, it doesn't really come across that well in this image. You'll have to kind of see it from a first-person perspective, but it is there, and it gives you really kind of nice 3D effect in the background. There we have it, guys. That's my kind of top 5 iOS 7 features for the iPad mini, and obviously the full-size iPads. If you have any questions regarding iOS 7 or anything else you'd like to see, drop it in the comments and I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. If you have enjoyed, I'd appreciate it if you give this video a like. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you in the next one.